Hello and welcome once again to AMZ TV House. It's your girl Ameze back on your screen. And I'm so excited to have you guys with me today. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. We have a special guest today, and he'll be on very shortly. And I'm talking about Soni Irabor. Soni Irabor is well known to anyone who's been listening to radio, watching TV, even the print media. And he's a permanent fixture in the Nigerian broadcasting terrain. But one thing I also love about him is that he is very, very passionate about what's going on in Nigeria. So I am so honored to bring him on, and I just want to acknowledge all those of you who have been patiently waiting. Thank you, Boega, Richard, Abundance, Eagle, Godwin Hathaway, SLOB. Thank you all so much. You are, I just appreciate your love. Again, if you're one of my return subscribers, thank you for all the love. And if you're new, please go ahead, subscribe to the channel, because I bring you wonderful guests and wonderful topics like what we're going to be discussing today. So what we're discussing today is Nigeria. Yes, a lot has been happening. A country at war with itself. So without wasting too much time, I'm actually going to bring hello. Okay, so it's like we're not your we can't hear you. Your mic. Yeah, it's not. We can't hear you. No, we cannot hear you. Let's see. We can see you, but we can't hear you. Let me see. I don't think it's at my end. No, it's not. Let me hear you speak.
Me.
Okay, that's coming.
Hello.
Oh yes,
hello?
Wonderful. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Now I need to get back to you. Can you see me? I cannot see you all of it. Okay.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah. Oh,
well,
Madam Beautiful.
Ooh,
Can you hear me well now?
I can hear you, but it can be a little bit louder. Can you increase your volume a little bit?
How do I do that? Let me see.
If you can, let me see if I can do it from my end. So we don't.
Okay, true. Try.
Yeah.
Is it better?
That's better. Yes, it is. It's better. It's better. Well, sir, as usual, anytime I talk to you, I always want to greet you in the proper way. No, I know we just didn't lose him. Anyway, he'll be back. It's the Wi-Fi. This is an international, we're doing cross-ocean, cross-continent interview, and he'll be back on. But again, like, what I was talking about, the title of the topic we're talking about today is Nigeria and a country at war with itself. So he's back on. We lost you for a minute there, but you're back on. No, your volume is down. Oh. The volume. We can't hear you. No, it's not better. I can't hear you. I know you can hear me, but we can't hear you. I think it's the network. Is the network?
No, because now I can hear you now. It's better.
Okay, wonderful. I can hear you. Well, okay. So
it was the headphone.
So now how do I get
Yeah.
back to where I was with you?
It's
How do I
fine.
get
Just
back to
keep
live
talking.
stream?
It froze, but I think that's just
Okay,
the
let's
network.
see.
I think it will come back on.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Is
Your
this
voice
you?
is very clear now. Your voice is very, very
My voice
clear.
is better.
Very, very,
Okay.
very much so. Okay, we're gonna try. I'm gonna add you again. Let's see. Hold on. I put you back on. Now it's all dark. But can you hear me? Anyway, so let me just keep talking before he joins us, because he will. I know he feels so passionate about what's going on in Nigeria. And there's been so many things happening. It's been very, very tense. It's been very, very sad. It's been very, very there's a word. It's been, I mean, for a lot of us have been disillusioned, because Nigeria has always been in the news. And not too long ago, there's certain things that happened really just broke a lot of Nigerians, especially those outside the country, just broke our hearts, because it was sad to see the deplorable state that the country had sunk to. Things like this happening. We have things like this. I've just been told. Hello, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you very clearly, but I'd like to check in again, because it looks like something checked me out of your system.
Okay.
You can hear me, but I cannot hear you.
Okay, so try. Yeah. So
I can hear you, but I can't see myself.
Right. We can't see you either. So
can I then try again?
Yes, try again. Try again.
Hello?
Yeah. Try again. Try again. Yes. So try again. You can tell Mr. Soni Irabor is really, really trying to be a part of this live chat. Again, like I said, he's an authority in all the things that's been happening over there in Nigeria. If you watch his shows, Soni Irabor Live, he's got a show on Instagram, he's got a radio show, and even on Nigerian TV. And then a lot of the talks is, how can we make Nigeria better? How can we make Nigeria better? And he's been doing that, and he's been talking about that. And I thought to myself, you know what? Let's bring him here so he can talk to us, because we really want answers. I, for one, want answers from people who live in Nigeria. They can better give us a better picture, or paint a better picture for us. If you've been following my podcast, Ameza Live, I'd actually brought him on when we had the COVID-19 lockdown, and he didn't hold back any punches. He just told us exactly what he felt, we can do. And he is one person that's always encouraged the youth. He actually has a youth empowerment program, which we're also going to be touching on, how in his own way, he's trying to empower the youth. The youth of any country is the future of that country. People need to know that. Oh, I have to acknowledge, wow, Pastor Destiny, thank you for coming. Bess Davis show, thank you all so much. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing all those people. Thank you. Again, for those of you who've never been on my channel or been a part of my live chat before, every Sunday, usually I would have people from different parts of the world to talk about trending topics. Sometimes they're not necessarily trending, but they're very important and people want answers. So this is the place where we talk about anything and everything. So please feel free to give me thumbs up because that's part of your support for me. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please do so. And if there are questions, because my guest is coming back, I have Mr. Soni Irabor today, an ace broadcaster. He's legendary in broadcasting, and today he's going to be giving more than his 2 cents. So it's not just his 2 cents, it's going to be giving more than his 2 cents in what is going on, what is actually the problem with Nigeria. If you have any questions, please go ahead while we're waiting for him to reconnect, and let's just talk about it. What are your disappointments with Nigeria? For those of you, now not everyone here is Nigerian, for those of you who are, I think we have him back on, not everyone here is Nigerian. For those of you who are sympathizers of Nigerian, thank you. And those Nigerians, please go ahead and ask your questions. So, Sir, let's see, say something.
Yeah, I guess I'm back on and things are looking better.
Things
I'm
are
just looking at my fat face and wondering why it's so lined up.
Fat face, are you kidding?
Right.
There's nothing like that.
So can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly and I can see you perfectly. Mwah. As usual, every time when I have you, I always want to address you properly. Domosa.
Oh. Let's see.
Domo.
What that means.
Domo,
thank you very much. Wesley.
It's an honor to have you. Oh yes, say. Oh yes, say. Oh yes, say. Thank you for coming on. You have people here that can't wait to ask you questions. They're welcoming you, and at the same time, so let's jump right into it. The topic for today is Nigeria, a country at war with itself. We all know what's been going on, unless the person has been in a different planet. It's been all over the news. Hashtag end SARS and all those things, but I guess I'm going to start with this. Nigeria, which way to go? I remember Sonia Kosums sang that, but what exactly is going on? So is this it? Is this it? I mean, are we a country? Are we not? What is going on? Can you hear me?
Well, yeah, I can hear you. Signal is sometimes up and off. But Nigeria is a country that is unique in itself. And it's also trying to come to terms with the reality that's confronting it. When you know that the rule of law has been compromised on too many occasions for too many years, you're bound to experience what's going on in Nigeria right now. What that points to is the fact that when something goes wrong and the rule of law is not allowed to take its natural or normal course as stipulated by law, things will go bad. Now, what do I mean by this? If, for example, somebody is in charge of a function or a ministry, for example, and he makes a mistake and is held to ransom, is held accountable, and then maybe there's some kind of trial that goes on and he's released and declared free, not guilty. At least that would be a semblance of doing something that is akin to the obedience to the rule of law. But if that person is accused of some very serious offense and is not called to book, is not held accountable, is not even made to face or he's not asked questions where he has to try to explain himself, which has often been the case in Nigeria, then there's a problem. So the reality of the situation is, I don't think those who are being saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that they themselves should lead by example or that they should obey the rule of law have been doing that. What happened with the chairman of the EFCC last time? I think that case is still ongoing, but the man is still there, I guess. Or maybe he's not there, sorry. But then those are tiny examples I'm just trying to give. See, so what's happening now with the youths and the end SARS conundrum and the police and people asking for police reform, meeting demands and all of that, if you see the unfolding drama, you begin to also question certain aspects of it. So I want to say that Nigeria is not facing the hard fact of how its rule of law should be obeyed and enforced. That's what I think is wrong.
Thank you. What's interesting is, and I'm taking questions because I had some questions before, having you on. And one thing is, I remember, I don't know if you've seen the movie Sadiq Daba did, which, by the way, he was here, I think 2 weeks ago. And oh my God, first of all, I just want to say thank you for just being human, for being supportive and just being human, because for every sentence he made, your name was attached to it. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you. You're just someone with a heart. And I wish we had more like you. While you were trying to get on, I had mentioned to those listening that you're very passionate about the youth empowerment, because you do have a program actually that empowers, the youth and encourages them to, reach for greater heights and be better citizens of the country. So having said that, there's a movie Sadiq Daba did, I think it's called October 1. And I do remember in that movie that, yes, October 1. And one of the things is we'd had problems with, different sectors or sections of the country. We've got the Igbo, the Hausa, the Yoruba, and all the minorities sprinkled, amongst them. And there's always been that tribal wranglings, if you will. Well, 60 years later, we're still having that. Even during this NSAS thing, we had, not everyone was together. You had people sabotaging. Now, aside from the usual political, culprits that will try to sabotage movements like this, but I'm talking about the usual, the populace, the different sectors. It was like, oh no, it was a southern fight. It wasn't a northern fight. Oh, it wasn't the eastern. The Igbos were like, a lot of people think that Nigeria will be better if it broke apart. Are you one of those? Are you a part of that school of thought?
No, I'm not, because if you look at how Nigeria is structured, whether you break into 28 pieces or 280 pieces or 2,800 pieces, whether you are in your bedroom country and your sitting room another country or kitchen in third country, what is happening now will still happen. We haven't understood the importance. We have not understood the importance of the respect for human dignity, respect for human rights. Is me, myself, I first before anybody else. Until we start to put the nation first, before everyone else, before everything else, nothing will work. Look, all the people who are in power, they're not all from the same village or from the same bedroom or from the same clan or community. No, they're just you and I, for example, and maybe the people who are watching this program right now. Different people from different places. But do we respect one another's, sense of duty, sense of commitment, sense of reasoning with one another, communal thinking, and say, okay, Ameze, you are a Nigerian. Soni, you are a Nigerian. But the two of us, when it comes to now defending our personal interests, what happens first? Do we put the nation first, or we put our individual interests first? What does the nation, okay, what does patriotism say? How is it defined? Your duty to nationhood, I believe. So if I'm going to look at how Nigeria is structured, I think we should first of all just look at how the respect for the rule of law is looked at. And then secondly, how do we as a nation work together for the common good, not for my personal rights only? If you respect my right and I respect yours, then we're working towards the same direction of commonality, of common interest, patriotic sense. That's what I mean. Look, if the bedroom is scattered, you still see people sitting on each side of the different routes and they're not talking to each other.
Interesting. But there's a question, just to piggyback off a question you asked
Sorry,
now.
sometimes I get very.
Is that what?
Go on.
Okay. So you said
No, I said
something.
sometimes I get very funny.
Funny is good as long as
Yes.
the point is being understood. Sometimes we have to get funny. But my thing is, okay, I'm going to use America. Okay, we have our own issues. Okay. However, people say that. Oh, okay, that's a funny one. People say America is ready. America as a country is ready to go to war for one of its citizens. So if you're asking Nigerians to be patriotic or to be loyal to Nigeria, is Nigeria loyal or is Nigeria as a country taking care of its own? Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like a case of the chicken and the egg, I guess, which came first. But that's one thing people keep asking, like Nigeria as an entity, as a country, doesn't take care of its own. I mean, just with this NSAS thing, we saw Nigeria is like a country that eats its young. The youth were not happy with what's going on. And it's like that anywhere in the world. And they rose up, okay, like, hey, look, we are the future of this country. We don't want you totally destroying the country before it's our turn. And they were shot down. They were killed. Now, that's a country eating its young. So why would the youth or the citizens now be patriotic to an entity, a country that doesn't recognize its rights? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I think we have to be careful not to sweep everything under the carpet. There's some leaders who are good. There's some government actions that are good.
Mm-hmm.
The same way you have some youths who are very good and some youths who are not the best. But the point is we do not yet have the ability to take the common interest into our hands and move as one community, one people, one nation under God. That's what I'm saying. Look, whether they said Nigerians were killing its young, I don't think that was how it happened. Yes, there were situations where there was carnage. The shooting, for example, that's a very serious and very bad one. I will agree with that. But events led from one to another. I mean, this NSAS thing went on for more than 2 weeks, if you remember.
Right.
Until it came to a head on October 20, 2020. Now, that day will never be forgotten as quickly as possible. So there are two issues here, I say. If we're looking at how the leadership handled this situation, I think there are two things there that I saw. Leadership did not realize what they were up against. They didn't know what was coming to them. They didn't even know the youths were that prepared and that fortified and that reasonable. The youths knew what they were doing. But I don't think leadership expected it. That's one. Number two, it got to a point where when the leadership now said, okay, we're ready to meet your 5-point demand, which was the initial case.
Right.
I don't think the leadership read through what those 5 points represented, because in its case, the youths were actually fighting for the police. One of the items said restructure, reform the police.
Yes, yes.
So if I were in charge of leadership at that time, of course, in fairness to them, they were also meeting and trying to, understand one another and how they will meet at a common ground, on a common ground. But I think what went wrong was that even the youth themselves, yes, they had an articulate group of people that was trying to represent them. But the way it ended up, those who went to meet the leadership I'm not sure they were prepared for what confronted them as well. So both parties were not that ready. And instead of going back to consult with one another, I mean, the youth going back to consult with one another, they did not quite do that. And then, of course, there was also the ripple effect of confusion amongst the youth. Who should speak? Who should not speak? So Fals was doing his own. Davido was doing his own. There was another group who were the accidental financiers. So they had things working for them. But somewhere along the line, nobody saw between the lines or read between the lines to be able to determine how best can we handle this, because this is once in a lifetime opportunity. I think both parties went wrong, because I'm talking about leadership. I mean, youthful now, talking about youth. Everybody who is a leader today was a leader in his youth days, youthful days.
Yes.
They are still leaders today.
Right.
That's number one number one rubbish of the whole wahala.
Yeah.
Even today's youth, when you put them there, I've had experiences with some of them. And sorry, I have to speak my mind. I'm not condemning anybody. I'm not saying, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that some people are selfish. And so they don't yet understand the importance of working together for common good, which is what I've been trying to stress here all day. So seriously, each one needs to go back to the drawing board. Of course, leaders, I'm sure they were the rulers or leaders or those in government. I'm sure they knew they were wrong in many ways. But unfortunately, they have some bad advisors because they are not even handling it too well as it is now. We don't even know what's going on because we hear that some accounts were frozen and all. At this stage, that's not what you should be doing. Look for how to resolve this case and move forward, because both parties, both the youths, the government leaders, the nation as a country, we've lost too many things. Infrastructure, human lives, which is the most important, we lost very badly too. The police lost some people. The youth lost a lot of people.
Unnecessary.
So anybody, yes,
just,
unnecessarily. That's anybody who's handling it now has to think twice and think for the betterment of for the common good of Nigerians.
Everyone, yes. And I think therein lies the problem. Thank you so much for answering that question. I'm still going to address that, but I want to quickly, I have someone asking a question here, and this is from Mr. Richard. He says, a very important question keeps resonating with this theme. How do you save yourself from yourself? Who will save a country at war with itself? Tribalism is killing us fast, and it is left unaddressed. Well, I mean, well, what do you have to say? Tribalism. It still is the root of our problems, right? It's not going to end. It's not.
No, I'm just, you know why I'm laughing?
No.
I'm laughing because this is the same 10 and Tempest that has been on for time immemorial, as we say in Nigeria. Immemorial.
It's been there.
Tribalism, religiosity, what else? Come on, despotism. The truth is, hold somebody accountable for what you assign him to do. All these things will stop. If tribalism is a problem, and I now employ my son in a position where that he's not qualified to handle, then the world should question me and ask me to be the reason for doing that. Right. Did you do it open for the world to see? Did you have an independent panel who interviewed each person and they chose the best person? Because if your son is qualified along with others and they went through an independent panel and it was seen as the best candidate, it's a different matter.
Right.
So this is some simplistic blame game, saying tribalism, religion problem, who you come from, where you come from, and all that stuff. No, let's drop that now. It's beginning to sound like a broken record. Respect the rule of law. Rule of law, civic responsibility. Somebody is given an assignment. Did he do it well? If he didn't do it well, why didn't he do it well? So what should we do? if he's not really the best person there, can we get somebody else who can do it? Put the best person in the right places. Simple. All this tribalism, that's okay. Come on, man.
I do hear you. It's interesting. It's like you said, the question has been asked over and over and over and over. Which way to go, Nigeria? I'm going to quickly take this. We have Miss Evelyn Obaha, and she's saying, hello, Oga Soni.
Hey.
Hello, sis. How are you?
Hi.
She says, this is her view. She says, my view is Nigeria is a country where how do I survive in any circumstance I find myself now? Until that mindset changes, I don't think Nigeria will change. She's saying she's good. Yes. So that's her 2 cents. Like, people are selfish. I mean, you already said that. It's about me, myself, and I. But there's a reason how did people get there? You talked about and just to echo, because what Evelyn is saying right now actually echoes what you were saying. During this whole thing with the NSAS, the youth were kind of fragmentalized, if you will. You had different factions. And I think everyone went in there. Again, you're taking on a system that is seasoned. This is, you need to be prepared. So I think, like you said, people want to take glory for themselves. As opposed to, okay, these different factions, let's come together. We've got to have our acts together, bring our A game. But this faction was like, I'll go talk to them, I'll do this, because they want that glory for themselves. And you find sometimes that's not going to work, especially if you're going against a giant of a corrupt or corrupted government like we have in Nigeria. If you're divided, you're definitely not going to get anywhere, because they know the game better than you do, and I think that's what probably, crippled them even before they started. My thing now is what's happening. We don't know what's happening. And that thing about freezing assets and, that it doesn't work. I'm sick and tired of people freezing things or capturing things or discovering monies and what have you, and there's no accountability where that money goes to or what it's used for. That just is a turnoff. But right now, which is the way forward? I mean, yeah, we have the tribalism, like you said. We have Nigeria is corrupt. And I remember when you came on my my podcast, and we talked about the youth, because that's something, you're very passionate about. And I said, but the youth, their role models are these people we have. What's to make them different? I don't know. I mean, who mentored them? People are hungry, too hungry by the time they get into the government. And all they want to do is line their pockets. Because again, in this age of social media, people show things, whether they're true or not. Beautiful houses, beautiful cars, wonderful, glamorous vacations. By the time people are getting to that government seats, where people vote them into, or they seize the position, I don't know. They're already hungry for that kind of lifestyle. What's to change them?
Your questions are very loaded.
I keep bringing it up. Yes, please try.
Okay. I'll make sense of it. Yeah, I'll make sense of it, because Evelyn set the pace and you concluded it. But they all boil down to the same problem. How do I survive? Very, very serious question. Because when I was growing young, rather, when I was growing old, okay, when I was young,
we get it.
When I was much younger, I'm still young. Yeah. When I was much younger, there were something they called a welfare center. Welfare center was actually designed for young men and women, in fact, for almost underage as well, who did things that were seen as wrong. And then they were taken to welfare center and remanded there for some time. Could be 1 week, could be 3 months. But what did they do in that center? That's the question.
Hmm.
Now, if they looked at the kind of crime or offense, not crime, offense you committed, there is a way they have counselors, youth counselors, adults who looked after children, pediatricians. I don't know each name now, but their job was to sort of speak to these young people, reform them, make them understand the importance of civic responsibility. Take my word, civic responsibility. Question is, what is your civic responsibility to government, to nationhood, to community? So when you look at that, they will also teach you your fundamental human rights. What are you what are you responsible for? What are you
Oh no. I hope we're not losing him. See, these are some of the things we're talking about. I just found out that Nigeria doesn't have a broadband. I don't know if that's true or not, but hopefully I can remember to ask him when he comes back. Things like this, we shouldn't be having this problem. We shouldn't be having problem of, can you hear me? Because I was just, you're back. Okay, good. Yay.
Yes, very clear. Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you. I can see you.
Okay.
Yes. So should I continue?
Yes, please.
Should I continue?
Continue, please. Yes.
Hello.
Continue.
Okay. Right. So I was talking about welfare center. And yes, I was talking about welfare center and actually alluding to the fact that they used to groom those youths or children who were sent for reformation, for some kind of admonition, and make them to understand the importance of obeying the law. Okay. And then where the child that was sent there had a good case for himself or herself, then of course they will now listen to that child again and record the case later at another forum to give the child a chance of hearing, so that if he was misjudged or wrongly accused, he has a second chance of redeeming his name and getting things better. But the question is, where did things go wrong? How come I now have to look out for myself? Well, nature has dictated that you must always look out for yourself. But it was supposed to be within the dictates of common good, common living, community responsibility. Because even at a small forum where you have 5 people, each person has a responsibility to that forum. He has his own person and he has his own actions that he's supposed to undertake for that little community. And he's expecting something back from that community. So that way, there's give and take. So it's not a room for one person to be in charge and then he takes it all because I'm the king. No, it doesn't work like that. Even the king, there are kingmakers, don't forget. If he abuses his powers, the kingmakers will get rid of him.
Right.
So there are checks and balances for managing how community, how a state, how a nation should govern, and how the people should obey the rule of law. Simple. That's why you have the different departments, agencies for enforcing these functions, rules of law, and all of that. Unfortunately, what happened on the 20th of October, 2020, was something that went awry, completely out of hand, because somebody lost, track, lost in whatever he needed to do. His patience was first and foremost what he should have tried to put together. Are you there?
I'm here.
I lost
I'm
you?
listening.
Connection problem again. Oh,
no,
boy.
no. I'm here.
Having trouble connecting? This is often caused by an unstable internet connection.
Yes.
Are you there?
I'm here. We can see
Okay,
you.
good.
Everybody can see you,
So,
sir.
to elaborate too much on it, but where I'm going to is that everybody has a responsibility for everybody.
Okay.
I have a responsibility for everybody. Everybody has a responsibility for me.
Yeah.
Just give and take.
I know. These are all nice points you're bringing. Let me, Bess Davis says Nigeria is an entity and a space, an entity and a space. It is the people who make up the country until every single citizen from top to bottom understand the importance of patriotism, the country will remain the same. That's one person. Then there's Stella. Stella says, thank you very much for sharing your valuable opinions. I believe the only way to change a system is from within. How do we encourage our youth to give back and run for office without connections? Okay. Bess Davis comes up. Yeah, beautiful question. And then Bess Davis again said, the citizens, starting from the top, should do away with selfishness and imbibe the culture of what they can do for the country and not what the country can do for them. They should
Thank you for that, John Kennedy.
Yes, Bess. That's nice. That's what JFK, John F. Kennedy, asked. He made that popular in when he was president, the late JFK. Ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. So, but I hear you. You give your points, that everything you're saying makes sense. Oh, okay. They should not use, Best continues, they should not see public offices as money-making machines, but rather an avenue to serve the people and help better the country. All this is well said. All this is nice. But there are people out there who believe that it's in the character. And that's what I'm asking. It's in the character of Nigerians to be corrupt, to steal, Oh, you can't hear me? Yikes. What happened? Nothing changed here, sir. These are the things we're talking about. Niger and their Wi-Fi problem. You see? We're too big. That country is too big to have problems like this.
See?
Go ahead.
Please hold on 1 second. Don't drop.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
I can't actually hear you.
Ooh. Nigeria is still having Wi-Fi problems and electricity problems. And can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
It's always a challenge. We hear you perfectly. We hear you perfectly. It's not from my end. Okay, let me try this and then bring you back. Is it better? Is it better? Can you hear? No? Yes, it's the network problem. Can you hear? Now we cannot.
Now I am. Can hear me now, right?
Yeah, so this is good. Me. No, it's fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? But I can't hear you. What's wrong with this? Can you give me a moment to make sense of what's happening? I'm very sorry. Let me block my cam.
It's not your fault. Okay. I know you can hear me. I don't know. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay, so you can hear me. You're responding. So while the legendary hello. While the legendary Mr. Soni Irabor is fixing the problem, the audio problem. Thank you guys for your questions and your suggestions. And it's all good and nice and inspiring. But my thing is, there's a core problem. What is the core problem? I keep asking people this, and there are people who actually also believe in the thing that I do. The youth model themselves after the older ones. It's like that everywhere in the world. You model yourself. It's just like in a family. The children will model themselves after the parents, right? So we have this youth now, and they especially in the age of social media, they've been shown some kind of lifestyle, and in that lifestyle it's been made very public, if you will. Like it's not, it's what is, that for you to live this type of lifestyle, people are going into government just so they can amp up their life or their lives, so what is to change the youth? I keep asking this. And that's why there are people who are saying, look, it doesn't matter. I know Mr. Soni Irabor is not of that school of thought, but that the country should just break if he wants to break. It's not working. And then we have people who are saying that it's just 60 years. You cannot compare Nigeria, 60-year-old Nigeria, to America or some other of those developed countries, because they're so much older. They're 200 years plus. Why would you compare? But this is my thing, though. You could argue, well, yes, Nigeria is 60, but it can look to those older countries, the older ones, to not make the same mistakes they did. You see what I'm saying? So it seems to be anywhere you come from, there's always, someone is checking you somewhere. So I have Evelyn here saying, as brutal as it may sound, I advocate. Evelyn, really? Okay. I'm going to read it. Evelyn is saying, as brutal as it may sound, I advocate for a Rollins-style revolution. It's interesting you brought this up, because in a meeting not too long ago, Nigerians in diaspora, we were talking. Not everyone in there, it was just some members. And one person had brought to my attention that, well, when Rollins did what he did, that was in the 80s. That was before social media. That was before the world became a global village. What he did won't fly now. It won't work. You can't use those type of tactics anymore. But Evelyn, I will tell you this, you're not the only one clamoring for that. A lot of people are saying there has to be a cleansing. First of all, I'm tired of having people who are older than the country ruling the country. I mean, seriously, these people were there before Nigeria a lot of them were like in their 20s, okay, when Nigeria became independent. Some were in their 30s, and they're still ruling. Seriously, how do you just sit on a country's glory? I don't understand it. Some people have said, it's so interesting the things people say when I ask for, I interview people, want to find their own, what their opinions are. And some people say, oh, they've mortgaged Nigeria's future, because some people have mortgaged, I don't know how that's even possible, mortgaged the country's future for their own use, for their own blessings, if you will. Like they've gone some diabolical thing. Okay, so Stella says, okay, before Stella, there's hey Shelly, how are you? Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. And oh my God, the things are just flying in. And I think there's a Benny Benedict. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. So Pelumi says Nigeria will only be better when the average northern youth understands that the average Igbo youth, Yoruba youth, and the South youth is his brother. Dividing us has been a weapon of destruction. Okay, very well put, Pelumi. Stella says, I agree the youth model the elders, but there are a lot of barriers to entry into the system. Okay, so we don't have fresh ideas. Only the connected and elite have easy paths to success. Best is back with, I truly agree to the brave. When I see things like this, it makes me laugh. So Best says, I totally agree to the breakup of the country because there are so many things working against it. There are so many different tribes, cultures, languages, and so on. Ekene George says, hello, host, thumbs up. You know, guys, I'm really having fun, and I'm so sorry. It's like we lost Mr. Soni Irabor. He's probably going to try and get back in. But, you know, he has, again, it's something he's very, very passionate about. And I've been following his interviews on Nigeria, you know, challenges that Nigeria faces. But yes, Best, there are people who believe the breakup is the answer. I remember during that NSAS movement, I had I had some two friends join me. Again, we talked about this because I was really, really touched, because it's like it's old news and it keeps coming up. Like, seriously, when is it ever going to stop? And I remember one of my guests that talked of Rwanda and said Rwanda is such a beautiful place now because the citizens turned around and made their country great again. Well, then I pointed out Rwanda had been through a genocide. Do you see that? So do we have to get there? Hello, Romy D. Thank you for coming. Juliet Fred, I am really honored to have you guys here. So do we need, the question now is, please, if you can answer this before I round up. You know, it's easy to start a war. It's very easy to destroy. It's to build. That is the challenge. Anyone can start a war. It's to build. The building is the challenge. So when this guest of mine had mentioned Rwanda, I pointed out, well, Rwanda went through a genocide. It gets to a point where everyone gets tired of you and you're the only one who has the answers. You realize that, you know what, I am my brother's keeper. So my question is, do we have to get there first? And then in that same interview, I remember someone said, well, you have the Igbos in the country who you know, they're talking about the Nigeria having been through a civil war. And I said, yes, but the civil war affected more of a sector of the country. And those are the Igbos. And they are the ones now clamoring for a breakup, okay, because they went through a genocide. And you find that sector of the country are their brothers' keepers. I think we have Mr. Soni Irabor back. Can you hear me, sir?
Thank you. I'm back. Yes, very clearly. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. So very quickly, there have been questions. I'm telling you, I'm just going to. Okay. Oh my God, there's so many questions.
Please apologize to them for me. I'm very sorry.
Evelyn Obaho came back and said she thinks that Nigeria needs a Rawlings cleansing of the land. People do say that. It's not the first time, you know, the Jeffrey Rollins, yes, that we need a cleansing. Mm-hmm. We had Bess coming back and saying that Nigeria should break up. There's nothing is working. It's, you know, it's been tried and it's just not working. Stella doesn't believe. She says, I don't believe in a breakup. We must model our country after India. They have more languages than us, but still find a way to be successful. Okay. So, sir, what do you think? Breakup or no breakup? I know you said no breakup, but people are clamoring.
No breakup.
No breakup. Well, you have
because it's a simplistic solution. But then the price you pay for breakup is far more than you can imagine. Are you ready to die for your country? You guys asking for breakup. That's one. Number two, does the breakup solve the problem? It's true now. Does the breakup solve the problem? Do you even know what the problem is?
That's a good one. Those asking for breakup,
we had
Mr. Irabor says, are you ready to die for your country?
To die for your country. If you're ready for it, how many people do you think are ready to see you die or join you die? We haven't even understood the problem yet, and we're talking about breakup. Look, if we break up, let's say we go to our Benin City, right? At our kingdom of yesteryear.
Yeah.
And if we go that way, well, who knows what's going to happen? Now, that time you can't see the man will come say, I'm from Apapava. The other one say, no, I'm from Owegbeni. The other one say, no, I'm from Iyaro or Selu. Come on. We do not yet understand the importance of the individual responsibility to nationhood. We must first understand what me, for example, as Soni Irabor, who am I? What do I mean to the country? What sacrifice am I willing to make for my country? And if I'm better at something and they choose somebody before me who is far worse than I am at that same thing, I'll be wondering what is happening. So I will demand for my right. If my right is not given a fair hearing, I will still demand more. And I will expect people to join me in the fight because I'm not fighting for me alone. I'm fighting for everybody.
Niger.
If you do not question the irrationality of some actions or the foolishness of some actions, and you do not demand accountability and explanation for certain terrible actions that have been taken, and you do not seek redress, then there's a problem. Then that means we are really, really aiming for a bigger problem. But my question is, before you clamor for break up, do you or does the nation or even the person asking for the break up, do you understand what the meaning is as breakup? All right, if you break up, what faction are you going to form? How prepared are you? What kind of study have you made that will make that faction workable? Or are you going to be just another political party and then you go and bribe money before they make you a governor? You have to bribe money, pay some money before you are given a chance. You know that's not fair play. That's what's going on here. And I said it before, it is not Yoruba against Hausa or against Igbo, against Edo. No. Edo, Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, they are part and parcel of the same community that is causing this problem that you're talking about. You'll be surprised how they meet after hours and how they discuss. So we have to understand the rudiment of what nationhood is, what responsibilities are. If you are the president of Nigeria, are you a president for one section or president for all? If you are governor of a state, are you governor of your family or governor for the whole state? When political electioneering comes, like Trump and Biden just did, Biden said, listen, I'm ready to work for all, not for me or for Democrats. I'm ready to work for the whole country, Republicans, Democrats, all the other parties that were not mentioned.
Right.
I'm ready to work for all. But Trump says, guys, before you even get to that level, I feel cheated. We must go to court. See, let's follow the due process. Okay? He wants to go to court, let him go to court. But the court will still give the final say, right? After that, what next? Then you move on.
Right.
So America was almost on the brink just a week ago. But please, let us be a bit more realistic about the demands we are asking, the reasons behind the problems that we have, which we don't seem to address. And then, if the Constitution is faulty, let's begin to look at ways and means of making the Constitution work better. All those people who have been put in places of responsibilities that ought to now work for the common good of all, but are working for a few, and maybe for their pockets, then this is the time now for law enforcement, for the judiciary, for the rule of law, for the Constitution to play their roles. To now make sure that, look, from now on, I think it's the leadership that is the question. From now on, I, General Muhammad Buhari, or President Muhammadu Buhari, I have said I've heard of shades of opinions on this whole thing. From now on, this is how we want to go. And if you don't like it, I'll give you 1 month to look at all the points one by one. And then what's wrong, we look at it, how to repair it, and then we move forward. Because honestly, if we work together, we will gain more. If we work in isolation, we will gain less. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Nigeria is a behemoth of sorts, very large country.
Yes.
But is that the problem?
Some people say it is.
Is Nigeria the largest country? Did somebody just say India it was 1.3 or 1.4? China is 1.6 or 1.5. I don't know. But these are B, not me. We're only just talking of 200 million. We're making a
You know what? I have to go to these comments, okay? It's so interesting. So we have Lord. So Shelly, oh, did I just lose Shelly? It was here. Shelly's like, okay, we probably need a revolution, you know, some charismatic leader to lead us, you know. Okay, we don't. You said yes or not? Okay.
Constructive revolution.
Okay. And then Stella is like, preach on. Who is actually ready? People keep talking about breakup. Who is actually ready to die for the country? You know? And it's like, Nigeria is so precious. We should not throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know? Yes. Let me see. And then, oh God, it's on fire. So Nuella Oseni said, making the Constitution better is not the problem. I just feel the judiciary is not independent enough to uphold it. Okay. Pastor Faith, hi. She's like, break up or reconstructuring, whichever one works is okay. That makes me laugh. And then Evelyn, of course, Evelyn, you're very active today. Is it because Oga Soni is here? She's like, well, she said, there should be no breakup. Okay, well, there should no breakup then. Every blueprint should be torn up. There's corruption all over the world, but there is accountability. Okay, she was referring to you talking about, she said in Biden's speech, he said it's not a red America or a blue America, but a united America. She's saying that the thing that she's comparing Nigeria and the United States, and she's saying the difference is the blueprint. What's worked for Nigeria is not working. What's worked for, it just boils down to the blueprint. Whatever has worked is not working. It should be torn up. There's corruption all over the world, but there's corruption all over the world, but there's accountability which we lack in Nigeria. So she's responding to me, say she did vex. That's why it's especially talks around outside of Nigeria. People are really, we all are disillusioned, really. I, for one, am quite jaded when it comes to the country because we've had eruptions before, people clamoring for rights or things to get better. But I think this has been the biggest so far. But I also predicted that it might come to nothing. Why? Because you're taking on a system that's entrenched in corruption, that is seasoned and knows, it's like a chess game. Every move you make, they can preempt you. We need to get the older people out of play. They just need to go, really, seriously. Because they're outdated. Their ideas are outdated. Their way of thinking is outdated. And I think they're holding Nigeria back. Nuella, I'm going to read what you said. Making the Constitution better. Oh, it's not the problem. Okay. Judiciary is not independent enough to uphold it. Okay. So, again, it's been lovely having you guys here. The chat page has been on fire. And I really appreciate you guys coming out to support me. For those of you who've never been on my channel before, please do not leave without subscribing, like my video, and click the notification bell so that every time I upload a video or I'm going to have a live chat like this, you are the first to know, so you can be a part of this. Sir, it's dark again, but I heard you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, except that I'm wondering why I keep having this nonsensical experience.
You know why? I can tell you that for free. You don't even have to pay me. It's the same
That's
thing we're
okay.
talking about. Is the so many basic things that are lacking in that wonderful country. A country is so blessed and yet is bereft of so many blessings, that people take for granted, And sometimes when you have something, I guess, easy, some people say that, you don't appreciate it, So I found out that Nigeria doesn't have a broadband, and that's why the Wi-Fi keeps acting up. I don't know.
But we have fiber optic lines. Is that not supposed to be broadband enough?
You know what? I don't know. I really do not know, because clearly we still have this epileptic. Anytime I'm having this is not new. Things like this happen, and I always get this from Nigeria. And then the we also have that electricity problem, which by now we really should not be having. But sir, we're winding down, and
No.
it's lovely talking to you. It really is, because you make such valid points. You make so much sense. And people are clamoring. That's something else also, after this youth movement. That there should be some kind of coming together. The government should also employ the cooperation of traditional rulers.
I think I'm back on.
Okay, so are
I'm
you
back with
coming back?
you if you think.
Okay, let me see.
I'm seeing. Well, okay. The thing is still loading.
Yes.
They say I'm backstage. Okay.
It's buffering, yeah. Because you actually, okay, you're back. Okay, let me take this one off. Okay.
Maybe you need to mute your sound a bit. Oh, did I open two lines?
You did, but that's fine. It's fine. This
I'm
one.
seeing two Soni Irabors. Wow. Why not?
Yes, that's okay. The one right now we have you. I took the other one out. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. We're gonna work with this one. Okay. Beth says everyone is entitled to their own opinion. The guest may not be a part of the school of thoughts of breakup, but I am. Nigeria has tried almost everything and it has not worked. The next step is a huge and bold step. Breakup. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. Uwak Nora, thank you for coming. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all the support and the love I am getting here. Everyone is fired up. Everyone has, and you all made valid points. People want to break up, some people don't. And we get to, different places at different times, So what is your last word, sir? Which is the way forward? Where are we going?
Okay, my last word is I don't know why we're having this, but let me just that it's not me again. Hello, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
All right.
Yes.
Is it better?
Yes.
Okay, my last word would be, we are clamoring for legitimate things, so to speak, but is that the solution to the problem? Now, when I say this, the truth is, the smaller the number, the better the management. But in Nigeria of today, the way we have groomed ourselves over decades of breaking the rules, the lawmakers themselves are breaking it. They want the followers to not break it. So like ordinary traffic lights, you see green light and yet you go for it, fine. But when you see red light, you don't stop, you still go for it. Yellow light is a warning, you don't even obey the warning. So those little things are the ones that put us in that quagmire that we see ourselves and begin to wonder, are we really in the right country? Sometimes you go to some other African countries, you'll be surprised. But the truth is because one person is in charge and he has a draconian opportunity and it goes on. But have you noticed that Nigeria, there's no one person who has ruled Nigeria for more than 9 years? None. Check the history from 1960. Next, second longest was 2 terms. Babangida did it, Obasanjo did it. But Jonathan did not succeed in doing it. So the third experience of 2 terms is what Buhari is going through now. He has only done 6 years. So by the time he finishes his 8 years, that will be 8 years. I don't think Nigeria is that country that anybody can just think he can control for too long. But having said that, Nigeria needs to refocus its priorities in a way that will make us have respect for the rule of law. Let the Constitution guide us. Let the laws be obeyed. The laws are made for everybody, not for a few or a section of the people. You know, so those are the issues. You as a youth, or you as an adult, if you do not know what your role is as a member of this great nation called Nigeria, then you're not ready to be a Nigerian. But if you see something is wrong and you don't call the police or you don't call the law enforcement, you don't even call people to come and correct it, and you don't even question it, you just say it's not my business, you're part of the problem. So let's not begin to deceive ourselves. Wahala dey town because we allowed the wahala to germinate and become a buttress tree. Now we're finding it difficult even to cut it down. See?
Wow.
So,
Wow.
guys, as you go away, have at the back of your mind that you have a responsibility to your family, to your community, to your state, to your country. And that's how it works. If you can respect yourself, everybody else will respect you. And yeah, I don't stop.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm looking at some of the, you know what? I know you're going to go back with the comments. Some people are like, we're here, break up. And then I hear others say, well, who's ready to die? Are you ready to die?
Okay, let those who want to break go ahead and break. Seriously. And may God make us alive to see what will happen at the end of the break, the other side of break.
Oh my God.
If you don't know what your problem is now, you go and break, you will not know the problem later. That's the truth.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, sir. I am so, just having you here is such an honor and a privilege. Thank you for creating the creative.
I hope you'll be able to edit this thing for
You said?
What are you able to edit for size? Because a lot of hiccups here and there. Sorry.
It's live. Don't worry. It's live. It's okay. You got your points across, and your points are good for food for thought. Because there's something you said about the breakup, like, okay, you go back to your town that and that's where other people will now say, no, I'm from this side. I'm from Orado local government. I'm from Ovia. I'm from, and that's the truth. That's what people do things like that. But then again, some other person might argue, well, yeah, when you're working with a small space, there's nowhere else to go because you will implode. So people will then, I don't know what the country needs. I really don't. It's hopefully, we will get it. So again, people, thank you so much for coming, and thank you to our living legend, because that's who he is, Mr. Soni Irabor. Thank you for creating time to hang with us today. Thank you, guys. I love you guys. I thank you. I'm looking at some of the comments here and it's making me laugh. But thank you, guys. I totally appreciate you. And until I come your way again, please, 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 you can follow me on Instagram at amezesuperstar. You can write to me directly at amezesuperstar@gmail.com. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me thumbs up for this wonderful video. Watch my videos, hit the notification bell so every time I upload a video, have a live chat, you're the first to know. Again, please don't forget to write comments in the comment section, not just the chat section that you all are commenting right now, but at the bottom of the screen is the comment section. So again, come back next week. I'm going to have another wonderful guest, and who knows what we'll be talking about. Maybe this time we'll be talking about America. Who knows? 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 We'll be talking about How about that? If that's what you want, leave comments. Let me know. Again, people write to me, and that's what informs the choice of my topics. So until I come your way again, please be safe, be kind, and remain blessed. Take care. Thank you, Miss Shelley. Thank you. Thank you all so much. God bless you. Bye-bye.